Right, so as you can see, that main event that is currently happening at the moment is massive, and it's good to catch up with all the guys that are in the competition at the moment. Cannot wait till we get to that final table and to see who's there. But somebody who's no stranger to the final table is this guy next to me. His name is Barney. Go find him on Instagram right now. He's one of the WPT Royal Flush crew. It's good to have you in South Africa, mate.
It's good to be here,
Well,
Brew.
actually back in South Africa. Oh, Brew, I love it. By the way,
How's it?
You may have missed, and I heard him saying on his Instagram, I think it was yesterday, Laka, when he arrived at Emperor's Palace. And you know, stranger to South Africa. It's good to have you here, Barney.
It's great to be back, as
Yeah.
you said, yeah. It was about 9 years ago that I spent a few months in Cape Town.
Right.
At the time, I was dating a girl from Cape Town, from Nutuk.
South African girls, the best.
I can't disagree with that,
Yeah, okay.
especially not in a South African
Wait,
street.
are you not dating somebody at the moment, right?
No.
Okay, so we can say that. Okay, then we can get away with trouble. Barney trouble.
That's it.
Right, so you were dating somebody from Cape Town?
Yeah, and I decided to live here for a bit, here being Cape Town, and we stayed in Sea Point, and I loved the city. I have to say, I really fell in love with it. I was a bit tired of London, which is where I grew up.
Right.
And the spirit of the place, the soul, and the nature is outstanding there. So it was wonderful, but I had to leave. I couldn't stay. And the last 10 years or so, or since then, I've been living in India. And progression I've made is into poker, and then we met WPT, and that brought me back here.
And that's where we are now. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we'll get into a little bit of your history with WPT and with poker, of course. But let's talk about your stay in South Africa so far. I mean, now coming down, this time of the year is beautiful. I mean, you're experiencing some high fault storms that we're having at the moment.
Wow.
Have you had a good time in South Africa so far since your
Brilliant.
trip here?
It's been far too short.
Yeah.
We had just about 48 hours in Cape Town.
I saw you guys went up Lion's Head.
Yeah, I led the crew up Lion's Head, which they weren't expecting it to be quite as taxing as it was.
Right.
But it was great. We had beautiful weather there, and did Chapman's Peak Drive, took them to Boulders, see the penguins, and ate in some nice restaurants, and then came here. And as soon as we landed, the heavens opened, hail, thunder,
It was
lightning,
crazy.
and I was like, "Welcome to Joburg."
Welcome to Joe. Welcome to the high fault. And do yourself a favor, go check out. There's a picture on Barney's Instagram where he's sitting on the edge of a cliff on Lion's Head, and I'm just like, I'm an adrenaline junkie, but that's next level. And did the team do it as well that were with you?
Everybody did their thing. I think I got the closest to the edge.
Yeah.
I'm not too bothered like that.
Yeah, you're a bit of an adrenaline junkie as well.
It's been known. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's talk about WPT, and you now are one of the WPT Royal Flush crew. I love how I've got to make a note of this. It used to be called the Royal Flush Girls, and then came Barney Trouble, and I think that's the reason it changed to crew, because they were like, we got to get a good looking guy here and enter Barney.
Well, strictly speaking,
Yeah.
there was one guy,
Okay.
who was in the Royal Flush crew, and but after it was changed from Royal Flush Girls, and he and his partner, I'm not sure if they're married, were both in there, and they've had a kid, so they're out for the time being, and I'm in.
Amazing.
But when I got the call up, I was thinking, how am I going to fit into a group of exquisitely beautiful Instagram model level girls?
And they are beautiful, let's be honest. I mean, you got to go follow them
Yeah.
on Instagram as well. It's WPT_Royal Flush Crew. Go check it out.
Yeah, and I felt maybe like I was going to be the odd one out, but I have to say I've met them all at the in Vegas for the Tournament of Champions this May, and it was like becoming part of a family. It was a beautiful vibe. Everyone's super friendly, and at no point did I feel like the odd one out. Put it that way.
Well, I've seen some of the videos, and there's also, and I keep referencing to your Instagram, because obviously that's the points of contact that I've had with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And there's a video of you having the fastest dealer competition. What I like is I don't think you competed. You didn't you didn't show us your time.
No.
Why?
Because it was a players' competition.
Okay,
That's
there we go.
right.
There come the excuses. He probably did. Correct me if I'm wrong. He probably did. And he was like, "It's too slow. I'm not going to have this on camera."
The first time for sure.
Okay.
But as I was there doing it in between players, I tried again. I can say off the record that I did a very good time, but it was outside of competition rules. So
Okay, so it wasn't
Yeah.
filmed and it wasn't allowed. We're going to just keep it there.
Yeah.
You've traveled all over the world with WPT. I mean, South Africa, as you've said, it's a beautiful place to be. Where else have you traveled that's, has just taken your breath away when it comes to WPT and the World Poker Tour?
Well, I got the call up at the end of last year.
Yeah.
I'm working in poker in India. I'm the anchor presenter for all the big poker tournaments in India, which happen in Goa, where I live. And we did a couple of WPT India events. And on the second one, I had a word with some of the core staff, Angelica Hale and Jing Masinda. Said, maybe you've got a little spot for Barney Trouble.
Yeah.
And I got the call up, and the first
Amazing.
place they sent me was Vietnam.
Wow. Okay, of all places.
Yeah, which I have to say, I had been to Ho Chi Minh before on a little Southeast Asia travel, but it's a different experience when you go somewhere to work and you're there as official capacity with WPT, and that was a great, I would say, entry level, without wanting to belittle it as an event at all. It wasn't full on like the Vegas event, which is my second event. So it allowed me to just figure out,
get accustomed.
The way things work with WPT. And as I said, the next one I went to Vegas.
Yep.
More recently, I traveled back to the States to Maryland, and that was a really nice property as well. And now I've come back to South Africa.
Incredible.
It's like coming home.
And let's talk about, you've been exposed to so many different styles, I assume, of poker, right? Obviously the main game of Hold'em, but you go to Vietnam and you go to America and then you come to South Africa. Do you see a difference in the playing styles of some of the players?
You do, and you see what you experience actually is the feedback you get from the players. So I'm very familiar with the Indian players, and I've seen how they play. And in Vietnam, for my first WPT job, there were a lot of Indian players there. It's an easy hop from India, and they were quite frustrated with the playing style. It was different. Of course, you've got the additional complication of people speaking a language that you don't understand at the table, and it was a bit like turning the tables on them. Excuse the pun, because at home, English is the main language. In India, English is the main language of the casino, but they can speak in Hindi or a myriad of other Indian languages to themselves, which can frustrate the foreign players.
Right.
But it went back on them, and the feedback, the playing style is slightly different. But I guess you go to somewhere like the States, and I was the tournament champion, so there you've got the cream of the cream, and it's very high level stuff. In no way could I sit down at a table and last more than a few seconds, a few rounds. These guys.
And these guys are going for 2-3 days to get to that final table. I mean, how taxing it is, on the mind and the calculations that are going on, and that pressure. It's quite fascinating, to say the least.
Yeah, it's a level of concentration and sustained concentration, probably exceeds what are the other sports that do this, like Formula One racing. It's shorter, but it's very intense. You've got to be on the ball. Tennis, let's say, you can have a 5-set Grand Slam match, and you've got to keep your mind fresh and the whole time. And yet poker blows everyone out in the water.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
it's a marathon.
3 days of this intense concentration. Sure, there's no physical exertion, but the fact that you're constantly analyzing another player, and just one slip up can literally cost you half your pot, or half your stack at least, and potentially the tournament.
Yeah.
So it really is quite exciting. And then you come to South Africa, and talking about these playing styles. I mean, you've hopefully seen some of the way the guys are playing here. When it comes to the tournament styles, do you see, like, let's say for example, more aggression coming from American players versus South African going into a pot? How do you find it?
Without wanting to make a comparison that might make anyone else.
No, and we've said at the beginning of the stream, there's no offense taken here. It's clearly educational.
From what I've seen here, the game is played in a really good spirit.
Yeah.
Very friendly, jovial. I haven't seen too much, sledging and that kind of thing. I did notice in the States, not in the tournament champion so much, but when I went over to the World Series, it's an out and out, let's say aggressive talk, but certainly talk designed to distract, shall we say, and people really getting into a character which could throw other people off their game. And I guess part of that is because it's less of a community. I mean, here, a bit like the Indian market, it's a sort of small to medium level domestic market.
Right, of course.
And you get the same people come to the tournaments time and time again. And I get the feeling it's like a real like friends reunion, as well as a camaraderie,
camaraderie between the players.
Yeah, and everyone shares their knowledge and helps each other out off the table. Yeah. Maybe not during the game, of course, but everyone likes to talk with each other and share their knowledge, and that, I think that's a really good sign of a strengthening game in the country. I mean, it's not just South Africans. Obviously, there's players from all over Africa, but the future is bright. These guys are going to be their game's going to be getting better, and when they start playing overseas more, they will have a camaraderie overseas as well, which is a big help.
Absolutely.
You've got your home rail, when you're going deep in these tournaments.
Let's actually talk about that. So, with South Africa, as you have said, we really are a growing community when it comes to world poker. I mean, America's obviously dominated, and we've, I think, been exposed to a lot of American players with regards to, ESPN and YouTube, and we've seen all these master classes coming up like Daniel Negreanu and all these guys, right? South Africa now growing up through that. Do you see, how we've grown over the past couple of years? Have you been following South Africa and how we go up?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't followed it. I did hear that Phil Ivey was bubble boy in the first WPT here, which must have been frustrating.
Great for us.
Great for you.
Frustrating for him, to say the least. Phil, we love you. If this gets to you, we do love you. Come back, please. We invite you to come back.
Yeah, so I couldn't say for sure that I've witnessed the growth, because this is the first time I've been here and witnessed it. But I see some real familiarities with the community spirit here. Correct. And the sharing of knowledge, as I said, and I think that bodes very well. If everyone was just very insular and playing for themselves, you might get one or two people, doing well internationally. But when you've got a team spirit, and I know it's the same with India, when they go to Vegas, or it's like Team India, when it's not a national team event, it's an individual event, but to have that extra support, that extra knowledge pool that you can all draw on, and coaching that goes on, it's wonderful. And I guess these players will go on to bigger and better things.
In your opinion, how important is coaching for a player? A lot of guys will come in and they'll read books and watch videos, but having a coach, they're actually sitting with you and going through hand by hand afterwards, almost analysis, if you want to call it that way. How important do you think it is?
I think it's invaluable to a lot of players. I've seen, and just recently in WPT India, I keep referring to India, it is my home.
Of course.
The player that won the main event there, he attributed his win to one of the biggest Indian players that's done well, has got a bracelet in the World Series as well. And I know I can't even imagine, you've played all day on the tables, and then you've got to go off and then discuss hands. It's
tough.
It adds another level, but it obviously gives more than it takes away. And if you've got the right advice and you've got a good relationship with your mentor, your coach, I think it's got to give you confidence in your decision making, which is, the crux.
It's
of
valuable.
The game.
Yeah. You as a presenter and one of the WPT Royal Flush crew, how difficult is it for you not to want to enter a competition?
Considering how quickly I would get straight back out of the competition, it's not
it's perfectly okay. Yeah,
it's perfectly okay. I'll stick to talking about the game in public, let's say, and learning. One day I'll go in there and I'll take it down.
Well, maybe we want you to come and join us in the WPT main event. Yeah, there's one coming up in March, and it'd be great to have you. It would be great to have you come and join us for that. I mean, are you going to be back?
I haven't had a call yet.
Okay.
Things get decided because of people get sent different places at the last minute. I would love to think I would come back. It'd be love to come back here. It's a wonderful property here, the Emperor's Palace as well. It's been great staying here. Maybe the weather will be better when I come back next time.
That's the beauty of it. I don't know if, hopefully you're not staying here too late, but during the mornings, it's great weather and you can explore a lot of it. You can go chill by the pool. And then in the evenings, we get this, I don't know if you've had a chance to look outside, but when these thunderstorms in South Africa do come, as you probably know in the Highveld, the lightning that we get to be exposed to is so picturesque, and hopefully you get to be exposed to that too.
Yeah, and the hailstorm.
By the way, I had to drive through on the way here. Barney, thank you so much for coming and joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here in South Africa. And do me a favor, go check out Barney's Instagram. It's a hell of a lot of fun. I promise you, the videos that the WPT Royal Flush crew that they put up, I promise you I laugh. I was watching Alex O'Gray's video the other day where she was doing a Halloween thing, and I had a proper laugh.
Like a thriller video, Michael Jackson.
That beats, yeah.
That was brilliant.
You and the crew are incredible. You guys are doing such a great job. And please, you're welcome back in South Africa anytime. And hopefully you're not going back too soon. When do you leave?
Unfortunately, I'm flying out on Monday. So the day after this finishes, I'm straight to the airport and back to India.
Yeah, but come back to South Africa. Come and experience it with us more.
I won't need more than one invitation. Trust me, I'm back.
Hopefully we'll see you next year at our tournament that's happening here again at the Emperor's Palace. And thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you, Alex. It's been a pleasure.
Amazing.
I look forward to it.
Great. If you want to see more details, you can go check out the WPT _Royal Flush crew. You can check out Barney Trouble. I think it's Barney Trouble 1.
Barney Trouble 1.
Barney Trouble 1 on Instagram. And listen, it's going to be great. These are the events. These are the people that Shuffler Poker and WPT are bringing out to South Africa because of main events like this that's happening at the moment. Quick update that is going on. I saw that Jared Solomon just doubled up a couple of moments ago. But hey, listen, if you don't have more reason to enjoy what's going on at the main event, check this out.